Hey everyone, this is Poorman973, and I thought I would share this little thing that me and my coworkers talked about at work, mostly me, about the true secret of Santa. Now, first off, he does not live up north, like the North Pole, where everybody thinks he does. That's just a cover. That's why we can never find him out there. We can send scanners and probes and drill into the ice. We'll never find him. And it's supposed to be a castle anyway. How can you hide a castle on an iceberg? But I digress. Santa must live next to a giant toy factory in a big mansion where he lives there with Mrs. Claus, and all the elves are not the happy little souls that we believe them to be. They're slaves to Santa. They work in these toy factories, making all these toys and send them off all to stores and putting brand names on them, but they aren't the real brand names. I don't think any of those stores get any of that money. It all goes straight to Santa Claus. Santa is quite literally robbing us. Anyone who buys a kid a toy for Christmas. And that's not right. These elves are slaves in this factory. They have to live in there. They probably have like 5 or 6 hours to sleep, possibly. Maybe it could be 3. I don't really know. And I don't think they get paid. I think all the money goes to the big man because they have to stay in there and make toys all year long. That's all they get to do. The reindeer are there, but they don't fly or anything like that. They pull sleighs. Sleighs filled with toys, and they have to drag them along these concrete floor to go stick it in the warehouse or take it to the truck. And that's just not right. And what do you think their diet is on these slave elves? And they cannot leave. If you really think about it, they can't leave because I've never seen an elf. The only elves I've ever seen, not Santa Claus elves, the short ones. I've never seen a tall elf either. I've never seen an elf walking around going, "Hi, buddy." I go, "Hi, how are you?" And he says, "Oh, I'm fine. How's Santa treating you?" "Oh, great." No, he always told me he's a slave. He told me he escaped. And he was one lucky little booger. Not for very long, though. Santa found him. And think of all the money he also gets from advertisements. Look at CocaCola. I don't know about you folks, but every year I see some poster with Santa Claus holding a bottle of CocaCola. How much money do you think he gets from those guys every year? And he would have to come out sometime. Every Christmas he would have to come out and fly around the world and eat cookies and drink milk. That's all he has to do. That's how he does it. I bet he could fly around in some sort of jumbo jet and land in all the airports and climb up to people and go around and climb down people's chimneys and eat all their cookies and milk. And say, "Hey, I left all these presents that your parents bought you." Oop, get rid of that part. "Hey, I left you all these presents." And that's another thing. How does he know if we're naughty or nice? And if we're sleeping or awake? He would have to have some sort of hidden camera system somewhere in every building, every house, everywhere. It could be in the middle of the desert sitting on a cactus, making sure you weren't awake, waiting for your present, sleeping under that cactus. And wouldn't that freak you out? In every single room, knowing that Santa is somewhere watching you? And what does he do if people find out, like what I'm telling you right now? Does he have to pay them off? Because he has plenty of money to do it with. I wouldn't mind. Or would he have to send some, goons to come rough us up a bit? I hope not, because I have a job and I need to work. I'd rather have the payoff. And that's another thing. Santa, probably in the summertime, is not fat. He'd only be fat on that one night where he goes out and eats all those cookies and milk. He would have, and he can't work with the slaves because that's beneath him, and also he has to work off all that weight. Poor Mrs. Claus probably spends all his time in the gym, and she's in there cooking healthy food. So maybe, even though he's not such a nice guy, maybe if we help him with like skim milk and celery sticks instead of cookies, we just might be able to save him some time and keep him from away from the factory all the time. Maybe he could help those elves out, and maybe if he does enough, they can start getting a paycheck and wandering around outside. And also, I was just thinking about this. Coal. If you're naughty, if you're not a child and you get coal in your stocking, where would he get all the coal? He would have to buy it from some sort of coal mine. And even if he did live all the way up in the North Pole, he would have to ship it up somehow. Now, I live in Wyoming, and there's lots of coal here. I know lots about coal. And my dad worked as a janitor in a coal mine for 15 years. When I was just a little kid, I wasn't even born, I do believe, when he was working in that coal mine. And he was a janitor, and he brought coal home all the time because, well, he worked there, and his boss let him have some. But coal can be expensive. Santa would have to have plenty of money to get the coal from anywhere where he buys it, all the way up to the north, all the way up to where he ever has it. And then when he goes around, he can just give the coal to the parents, and the parents don't have to tell us this part. Maybe he makes them forget. You know, he's supposed to be like magical and stuff. He could just wave his hands and make the parents just forget that they're the one that put the coal in the stocking because he told them to. That's just not very nice, and it's just not very fair. Well, that's about it. And once again, I don't really believe in this, but I thought it'd be fun to share with you folks. And if I remember anything else that I might have forgotten, I can put it up in another video. But until then, everyone have yourself a nice have a holidays. There we go.